Nike just released a brand new commercial featuring Caitlin Clark and her new Kobe shoe that she released today. And I saw this commercial yesterday on social media. I thought it was so cool. There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe logo.
Remember when Nike's app flatlined at 10 a.m. sharp and sneakerheads everywhere started pounding their phones like arcade buttons? That wasn't a software glitch. It was the Caitlin Clark effect, detonating in real time. 13,000 pairs of a Kobe stamped player edition vaporized in 60 seconds, turning checkout screens into tombstones and resale sites into Vegas slot machines.
Heard that Nike stocked about 14,000 of these, and that is an unconfirmed report, but they sold out in less than a minute. If that's any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this brand.
Meanwhile, just a few tabs over, A'ja Wilson's meticulously marketed signature line sat there like a politely ignored RSVP. Welcome to the biggest corporate course correction the swoosh has made in decades, and the drama is juicier than a summer blockbuster. For 2 straight years, Nike poured marketing gold into Wilson's brand. We're talking custom emblems, story-driven colorways, Malia Obama-directed commercials, the full royal treatment. The goal was crystal clear: crown A'ja as the next queen of women's hoops and let the sales roll in. On paper, it made sense. 2-time MVP, Olympic champion, charisma for days. But there was a tiny problem. While Nike was busy scripting Wilson's hero's journey, Caitlin Clark was torching NCAA record books like they were post-game confetti. Every logo range 3 sent SportsCenter into reruns. Every press conference quote spawned 1,000 tweets. She is, a walking highlight reel, whose very presence spikes TV ratings and triples concession lines. The marketplace noticed. Nike? Not so much.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial since she has joined the WNBA?
Fast forward to draft night, Clark signs an 8-year, $28 million endorsement, but still no standalone sneaker. Instead, she laces up repurposed Kobe 5s, no custom logo, no personalized story, just pure performance. Yet those hand-me-downs were already outperforming Wilson's handcrafted masterpieces before they even hit shelves. It was like watching a garage band outsell a stadium act. Only this band had an entire state's economy on backup vocals. Iowa logged an $82 million bump during Clark's senior season alone.
But I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they have been tweeting about Caitlin more. And then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it.
So Nike finally blinked. They greenlit a limited run Caitlin Clark x Kobe PE and teased it for about 5 minutes before the internet lost its mind. At launch, the sneakers app waved the white flag faster than you can say "got 'em." Shoppers blasted screenshots of error messages while bots cheered, and resale price tags leapt from $190 retail to $600, faster than you can refresh StockX.
Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlin Clark Kobe 5. StockX, currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. In Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago. These sneakers were retail for $190. This is the Caitlin Clark defense.
Outside one Dallas Dick's Sporting Goods, fans camped overnight because apparently Black Friday now has a summer sequel called Clarkmas. Compare that with Wilson's most recent drop. Inventory? Still readily available. Hype? Lukewarm at best. Nike's clearance pipeline is revving like a leaf blower in October. Numbers don't lie. 13,000 pairs sold out in 60 seconds, equivalent to $2.5 million gross before shipping labels printed. Secondary market markup, 100 to 220% within 2 hours. Google Trend Spike. Clark searches outpaced Wilson's by 8 to 1 the morning of release. Social impressions. Hashtag Clark Kobe trended worldwide, eclipsing Wilson's shoe hashtag by a factor of 12. In other words, Caitlyn didn't just sell sneakers, she bent the digital economy to her will. Let's be clear, Wilson is an all-time talent, but sneaker culture runs on storytelling, plus scarcity, plus undeniable star power. Nike checked the first 2 boxes for Asia, lavish narrative, limited runs, but the consumer base never felt the gravitational pull. Her line read more like a heartfelt family scrapbook you could lace up than a must-have fashion flex. Clark, on the other hand, oozes organic hype. She doesn't beg for spotlight, she attracts it. She doesn't need choreography or think tank slogans. Give her a ball and a semicircle painted 30 feet from the rim, she'll handle the marketing. That authenticity resonates beyond hardcore hoopheads. Middle schoolers, weekend warriors, your uncle who pretends he could have gone D1, all see a piece of themselves in Clark's fearless range. She bridges generations the way early 90s MJ did. No memo required. And here's where the tension turns combustible. Wilson has publicly campaigned for more respect, sometimes fair, sometimes fervent. She's hinted at double standards, invoked media bias, and asked why her accolades don't translate to equal fanfare.
I lost all respect for Asia Wilson. I don't want to hear her opinions. I don't care what she has to say from this point on. When you keep a Nike deal 2 years in secret while you're spewing all that crazy stuff about Caitlin Clark in the Time magazine, read it. Read what she said in the Time magazine. Yet you had a Nike deal the whole entire time?
When Nike swerved toward Clark, it felt to Wilson's corner like a corporate betrayal. But from a P&L standpoint, Nike was hemorrhaging potential revenue by not hitching its wagon to the biggest draw in women's sports since, well, possibly ever. Add in that Wilson had a supposedly hush-hush Nike extension in her back pocket while criticizing Clark's privilege, and social media went DEFCON 1. Fans began choosing sides, hashtags became battlegrounds, and brand managers found themselves refereeing a culture war proxy they never wanted to host.
And all this was done while the shoes being developed, while the collections being done. To demonize Caitlin Clark and try to label her as a privileged white girl that's getting all the privileges, even though she earned everything she got. This ain't about color. This is about good and bad. And I find this a little evil. I find this evil. This is beyond bad, because you had the ability to speak up and say, hey, everybody, relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal. That's cool. I got one too. Mine's taking a little bit, but it's going to come out. Just be patient. She could have came out and said that, but she didn't.
Then came the new spot. Locker room lights flicker, Clark's eyes snap open, Kobe's logo flickers like a serpent's pupil, and boom. 30 seconds of cinematic swagger. No monologue, no moralizing, just performance and promise. It racked up millions of views overnight. Sneaker blogs called it 10 out of 10. Ad industry execs called it long overdue. And kids simply called it fire. Nike, to its credit, finally looked like it understood the assignment. Feed the phenomenon, don't force it. Yet the timing underscored how many quarters they'd spent trying to manufacture buzz elsewhere. The market had to drag the swoosh, kicking and screaming, to the obvious conclusion.
I find it's very deplorable to me. I find it's very deplorable that you allow Caitlin Clark to get crapped on that whole entire time and even speak up. And on top of that, Nike's a bunch of a-holes too, because they didn't speak up and defend Caitlin Clark or speak up and say, hey, we got Asia's shoe coming. We got Asia's shoe coming. Just got to be patient. Caitlin Clark's going to get hers too. I don't understand the tactics here. All you're causing controversy that didn't have to be there. You're calling division where it didn't have to be there. You're calling racial, issues where it didn't have to be there.
Let's zoom out. Clark's rookie season road games sell out arenas that averaged half capacity last year. TV ratings jumped 200+% when her name's on the marquee. Local bars in opposing cities throw Clark watch parties. That's the difference between stats and story. Wilson's resume glistens. MVPs, rings, gold medals. But Clark's narrative snowballs every 48 minutes she's on a court.
So it's finally here. Caitlin Clark sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year, and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion, but nonetheless I'm excited because these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now, Kobe, respect to Kobe, the legend, rest in peace, great basketball player. But in my opinion, Caitlin Clark is a big enough star and she's creating her own legacy. So I feel like, at least for her first sneaker, it shouldn't be a collaboration with any other player, dead or alive, in my opinion. I feel like Caitlin should have, for her first shoe, had her own original design just for her. No
Brands survive on emotional equity, the feeling you get when you lace up greatness. Clark converts that feeling into transactions at a clip unseen since the Jordan 90s. Wilson's line, by contrast, appeals more to a niche audience championing representation. Important? Yes. Scalable? Not nearly at the same velocity. Sources say former Nike basketball marketing lead Jordan Rodgers publicly lambasted the company for sleeping on Clark while share prices slid to a 5-year low. Imagine watching your options evaporate while the biggest needle mover in sports sits underutilized on your own roster. It's like discovering oil in your backyard and watering the lawn instead. Now, exec decks reference CC-driven server stress tests as KPIs. Translation: make sure we don't crash when the signature shoe finally drops. The pivot is both an admission of past misreads and a bet that Clark's ceiling is skyscraper high. Wilson, understandably, isn't thrilled. She's tweeted cryptic lines about respect, amplified commentary casting Clark as privileged, and watched as public opinion turned a side-eye. The uproar even painted Nike as complicit in fueling division by staying silent. In an alternate reality, one press release, both athletes have signatures incoming, patience, friends, might have diffused the tension. Instead, the vacuum got filled with hot take napalm. What does this mean for Wilson's line? It will sell to die-hard Aces fans, collectors, and supporters of her cause. But the mainstream wave has already chosen its tide. Wilson's best path forward may be to lean into her strengths: defense, leadership, charisma, and carve a distinct lane rather than chasing Clark's runaway train. Authenticity outsells algorithms. You can A/B test 1,000 taglines, but if the athlete's aura isn't organic, the consumer sniffs it out. Scarcity still rules. A single limited drop that crashes servers beats 6 lukewarm releases with unlimited stock. Conversation beats campaign. Clark's brand grows every time a kid reenacts her logo 3 in the driveway. You can't storyboard that. Be early, not perfect. Nike waited for the perfect rollout and nearly missed the wildfire. Speed matters more than polishing edges in a viral age. Insiders whisper that Nike's already fast-tracking Clark's first true signature line. New silhouette, the spoke logo, women-specific last. If the PE sold out in a minute, picture holiday season chaos when Clark 1 lands in full family sizing. Expect bigger production runs, read at least 100 to 150K pairs, but still enough scarcity to keep eBay sharks hungry. International releases will follow. Asia and Europe adore Kobe retros, and Clark's tie-in brings them modern relevance. Wilson's upcoming colorways will test whether narrative tweaks can reignite demand. Expect community-driven activations, maybe WNBA-themed pop-ups, and partnerships with social impact orgs. Good moves, but uphill climbs against Clark's mainstream headwind. Caitlin Clark didn't just sell a shoe, she triggered a paradigm shift. She exposed the gap between scripted marketing and authentic magnetism. She reminded boardrooms that consumers, not committees, anoint superstars. And she proved that sometimes the best advertisement is simply letting greatness speak for itself. Nike finally joined the chorus, but only after the crowd was already singing. Now the question is whether they'll keep pace with the anthem they accidentally muted for far too long, or slip back into corporate deafness while another brand seizes the moment. One thing's certain, the next time Clark laces up, the world will refresh its browsers in unison. And if you're on Aja Wilson's side of the fence, the mission is clear. Turn the noise into fuel, rewrite the playbook, and remind everyone why your name once sat atop those same strategy decks. Because in the end, boxes of shoes don't care about feelings, hashtags, or press releases. They care about flight. Right now, Caitlin Clark is airborne. Everyone else is racing to catch a ride before the altitude gets out of reach. If you're here for the rise, smash that subscribe, tap the bell, and drop a basketball in the comments so the algorithm knows who really runs the court. Catch you in the next one.